Hey zoo fans, I'm ZSH Plays, and today we're going to be taking a tour of my completed Wetlands, Florida, a zoo inspired by the Planet Zoo Wetlands Pack. Alright, so here we are at the entrance to the Wetlands, Florida. I started this zoo maybe a day after Frontier announced the Wetlands Pack. It was really inspiring, the number of different animals and like a whole new environment to work in. So I decided I want to make a zoo to suit that. And it's got every animal from the Wetlands DLC and a few others that were suitable, like the American alligator. So we've got a mural here that I made with all new pieces from the Wetlands Pack. And then this takes us in to the opening of the zoo. So I've made a whole load of changes since the original habitat builds throughout this series, adding new stuff in all the time, which you'll see. Got some new conservation pack stuff over there. And this sign on the floor. So the first habitat is the Otter Pool for the small clawed otters. This is quite a striking sort of modernist style build, which is the style that I normally build in. But I tried to come up with a new style for every habitat in this zoo. So this is the only thing other than the entrance that's got this white concrete feel. Got a nice underwater viewing area here. And they've got their indoor area at the back. I was so happy that these got added into the game. This is my favourite species of otter. They are so cute. So now over here we have the platypus habitat I built a few weeks ago. But we are going to go this way and go to the capybara walkthrough first of all, and then we'll make our way around the entire zoo. So lots of improvements here. Got some lights up there strung between the trees, which I really like. And then all this backstage stuff here is workshop items from Digyduf, who's an amazing creator that I built Pomoja Wildlife Park with. And yeah, I just love these buildings. They're so good for putting in the background of your zoos, and they really seem to fit the theme of this one. And this takes us into the capybara walkthrough. So more improvements here, put a lot more planting in here to make it really lush. But yeah, this is just a lot of fun, this habitat. There are so many capybaras in here now. I had breeding turned on for a bit, I turned it off now, but we have a lot of capybara. There's one. These are the new mist features on the water as well for most of the habitats here. That's a really nice touch. It gives it that wetlands feel. And there's just so many, I can't even tell you how many trees there are in this zoo. Lots of the bald cypress, and then custom bald cypress that I made back before the pack came out, when I didn't realise that the pack would contain bald cypress trees in it, and there was absolutely no point in me doing that. And they've got two heated pools on either side here. Well, I guess they wouldn't be heated. No need to heat it. This zoo is set in the Everglades, if you haven't guessed. And this takes us through to the next part of the zoo, where we have an aviary. So this aviary here is based on an aviary called the Bois de Bâti. And it's just a really unique shape and a really unique design with this white mesh, this roof suspended on these poles. Got some cranes down there. I was just looking around for a nice aviary to take some inspiration from, and this one I really liked, so I decided to use that. And then across here we have the Amphibians exhibit. So this has the new when this zoo was started 3 months ago, Danube crested newt and the American bullfrog as well. And this is just a fake rock monstrosity basically. Really wanted to go for that ultra themed cheesy fake rocks that you see in zoos. So we've got some bullfrogs there. And then some newts over here as well. Good timing. and this is supposed to look almost like it's one habitat, or two habitats really, one for the bullfrogs here, one for the newts on the other side with the running water in it, with each habitat in the middle on a higher level so the water's feeding down to below. And we go back around here past the aviary. We'll get into the first sort of themed area of the zoo. Like I say, I was trying to come up with new ideas for each habitat rather than building each habitat in the same style. So past this very modern looking aviary, we have a highly themed area called Wild India, which I've built mainly for the wild water buffalo, but I've also got quite a few other Indian animals in there now as well, just to fill it out. It seemed a bit much to have loads of theming just for a couple of animals, so I filled it out now. This is based on a national park in Assam in India, and I've gone all out on an Indian theme here. So we've got this barn for the wild water buffalo, and there's some peafowl kicking about in here as well. Really like these animals. I wasn't very excited about them when I saw the update, but once I put them into my zoo, I actually really like them. They're pretty impressive. And away over here we have our binturong. This habitat was an exercise in trying to make a habitat without using any sort of custom pieces. So we've got in-game barriers. There they are. We've got in-game fences for the standoff barrier. Their shelter is standard log pieces. Just wanted to see how nice a habitat I could make without doing anything too crazy. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that actually. And then past the rest of the wild water buffalo, we have some Chinese pangolins, which despite the name do live in this part of India. And again, just a nice simple habitat for them here. Very similar to the binturong. These are really endangered, so the concept was kind of, even though they're mainly nocturnal and they're pretty small for a habitat of this size, the zoo would breed them here. And that is the Wild India section. Got custom signs all the way around the park as well. And this takes us on to the Nile Lechwe, which obviously has an African theme rather than an Indian theme. Some more cool animals here. Went all out on trying to make this shelter look as decrepit as possible. This is based on I think it's someone's house over in Sudan. And all the way around the back of the Wild India, in the centre of the park, is the Flamingo Trail. So this was built for us by the wonderful Romanopulatious, and it is absolutely amazing. He is the king of planting in Planet Zoo. Don't think anybody does planting better than Romanopulatious for my money. And it is just a whole trail of incredible plants and these flamingos, which you can see on either side of the path all the way around. And it also gives the guests alternate routes. I built the zoo on a sort of loop. You can go left or right when you come through the entrance, and then you're basically just on one big path all the way around with the odd offshoot. And then in the middle, this gives people choices and reduces the sort of congestion of guests and just makes sure that the park doesn't get too crowded. I've limited it to 500 guests for this video just to keep the frame rate up, but yeah, I absolutely love this. This is one of my favourite parts of the zoo. It's full of custom trees as well, and yeah, just a real masterpiece in garden design as far as I'm concerned. So this brings us out at the back of the binturong and pangolin habitats that we just saw. So we can continue round here and we'll end up back at the Lechwe, and we can move on into the Crocs and Caimans area of the park. Done a load of work on all the sort of joiny uppy bits in the zoo like this, so there's no sort of bare terrain or anything that looks underdone. Everything's been finished off. This will be going up in the workshop today, so if you do want to take a look at it yourself, have a wander around at your own pace, then check the link in the description and you can download it there. So next up we've got the Caiman River. This is possibly my favourite build in the zoo. This is for the Spectacle Caiman and Cuvier's Dwarf Caiman, and it just gives you a sort of cutaway, sideways view of a river. It's all about the underwater viewing here, and making it as dense and full as possible underwater. And I just love how this looks. I think this works really well. Got some more of them over here. Not sure where the Dwarf Caiman are. They might be up on the land part of it. Yeah, I like these Spectacle Caimans. There is ground level viewing as well. It's not all underwater, we just go around here. And we can see them on land. Or we could do if there were any up here. I wonder where the Dwarf Caimans are. But yeah, I really like this one. And then this leads us round to the final habitat that I built for the zoo, the Alligator Swamp. This habitat is huge, and it takes us all the way around back towards the entrance and the Platypus, which is another one of my favourite habitats. So the concept for this one was to have a giant sort of swampy lake with a path that goes all the way through it. So you can see we've got quite a lot of alligators in here. There's the big one now. And it's sort of studded with islands and rocks for them to bask on, so you can get a good view. And then there's a feeding station here. With some meat and a keeper to operate it. That was my favourite bit, I think. And then we've got this island here with all their enrichment on. Which keeps them nice and close to the path here. Got custom mesh and sort of, I don't know what you'd call these things, spikes. Keep the gators where you want them. And that's the access for the keepers over there. And the staff buildings there. And yeah, like I say, this is a really big habitat and the alligators can go all the way through it on both sides. Not sure where the ones over here are. I think there's one there. This leads you out to a sort of nature garden area where I've got the new bug hotels from the conservation pack. And this would just be a sort of peaceful part of the zoo where you can chill out, maybe see some native wildlife if you're lucky. And this leads us round to the Platypus Pool, which I purposely designed to be as small as possible but still fully functional. So you can see it here. Really tiny little habitat. It's got a custom burrow just behind the water, which leads through some null barriers and a hole in the terrain to the real burrow, which is outside of the walls. There's one now. So that I could keep what appears to be the habitat as small as I wanted it to be, but still functioning, so they can get in and out of that burrow there. And yeah, that is the Wetlands Florida. If you are new to the zoo, then I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you've been following the series, then thank you so much for watching. And like it says up there, thank you for visiting the Wetlands Florida. I'll see you soon.